rolled a d20, I would like to Rage. Yes, we are doing a Rage only run, and Rage is a very unique move. Once in Gen 1, once you click it, you are just locked into a loop of using it. Can't switch out, increases your stat every time you get hit, accuracy messes you around, and yeah, the other thing right down the bottom. There are also only 9 Pokemon lines that can actually learn Rage via level up, and these are the only ones we're going to use while we try to see if we can beat Pokemon Blue using only the move Rage, with a lot of other moves like rules pushed in. So let's get started. As you saw in that previous one as well, the only Pokemon that can learn Rage from the starter trio is Charmander. And Charmander, it's a squishy Pokemon. Yes, it's got decent attack, it's got decent special, especially against the Charizard, but it's a squishy Pokemon, and a lot of the early game is not kind to fire types. I mean, Gen 1 in general is just not kind to fire types, but it's the first one that we can actually get, so we are going to go with Charmander. And Charmander, I don't know if we're actually going to be able to beat the very first rival fight. We'll soon find out anyway. We pick our Charmander and we are going to call him Too Slick after one of my subscribers. Thanks for subscribing, mate. Welcome to the channel. And we are going to crack on with this run. So, Charmander, and we're going to give them a Squirtle to finish off, which isn't great considering if you saw the other 8 Pokemon lines that can learn Rage via level up, we've got a bit of a weakness to the water type, so that's not going to help us out very much. The Squirtle, though, it does manage to deal out quite a lot of damage, but does take us down pretty quickly, which isn't great. We can't even beat the rival on the very first fight. And yeah, this is going to be a bit of a precedent for the run. There's probably going to be very little challenges in this run where we will win first time. It's probably going to take quite a few tries to get through these fights. And yeah, you might be thinking, what's the first Pokemon we're going to add to the team? Well, if you pay attention to that very first slide showing all the Pokemon, there's going to be a Pokemon in Viridian Forest which can also learn Rage via level up that we will pick up. And you probably know which one of it. It's going to be the Angry Bug, isn't it? It's not going to be Pikachu. It's not going to be the nice bug that everyone likes. It's going to be the Angry Bug that no one else seems to like but myself. I love Beedrill. Beedrill is a great Pokemon, but we actually can't catch it just as a Beedrill. We need to go and catch a Weedle to start off with. Now, like the Bide Only run, and with Rage being a normal move, you're probably already anticipating where there's going to be at least 2 impossible points to this entire run. And yeah, that's going to be Lavender Tower and that's going to be Agatha. They're going to be impossible because normal type moves cannot hit any ghost type Pokemon in this run. Or at least in this generation. Well, in any generation, normal types can't hit ghosts. It's completely ineffective. So without me waffling, we're probably going to have to start thinking about what other points in this run might be completely impossible for a team of Ragers to do. I mean, this team that we're going to build is pretty much going to be Rage quitters that you see on Call of Duty. Yeah, terrible jokes. This is what you come to the month of RB for. So yeah. As we saw as well, Rage has got some very unique things. Andy Ray, thanks for being our Beedrill for today, by the way, mate. Welcome to the channel. Rage, when you start using it, you are locked in. And as we saw against that Weedle back there, if you try to catch a Pokemon and use Rage, you can't actually catch it because you are locked into the move Rage. So what you need to do is actually catch a load of Pokemon at full HP, which makes it a bit more difficult. Once we've got ourselves a Beedrill with a fantastic attack stat at this point in the game, we've got enough to work with to actually challenge the gym. But before we do that, I'm going to go against the rival to the west of Viridian first. And this is where we see one of the little nuances of what Rage is not good for. So we got hit by Sand Attack there. We got hit by 3. And then 4. Well, no, 3. We got hit by Gust in the end. Basically, there's a little bit of a glitch that works with Rage and with accuracy. So if you or the opponent increase or decrease your evasion stat via moves like Double Team, Minimize, Smoke Screen, the game kind of freaks out when using Rage. It's only got 80 base accuracy as it is, 20 base power, but after a couple of Sand Attacks, your accuracy actually goes down to 0 using Rage. So you literally can't attack if you get hit by too many sand attacks. And I found this on multiple sources to back it up. So yeah, like Bulbapedia, Cerebi, they all said this happens, and I didn't believe it until I actually started doing this run, and it happened quite a few times. So that's one thing we're going to need to try and get lucky on, because there is literally nothing else we can do. Soon as Rage has been hit, it's all down to luck. So we level ourselves up to level 14, we beat the Light Years trainer, and we head into Brock's gym to see how we do against this guy. Now, a big problem with Brock, he's got rock ground Pokemon. Normal type moves are just terrible against this guy. Even with increasing our attack every time we get hit, it's not really doing all too much, especially when Geodude can use Defense Curl. So, even at level 14, we're really struggling to even get past half HP against Geodude. And we get taken down pretty quickly due to bad luck on his AI using a lot of tackles. That brings us into using Beedrill, who is easily a bit more powerful here. We do want to get hit by at least 6 of them, so we've got maximum attack. But we're just taking on so much damage and not dealing enough out because he keeps using Defense Curl. So he's got plus 6 defense, we've got plus 6 attack, and it's balanced out, so we're dealing exactly the same as what we would have done right at the start. What we need to happen, in the luck gods that there are, we need to pray to Lord Bidoof, and hopefully we get some attempts where they don't use Defense Curl all that much, they miss their tackles, and we can actually deal out enough damage for it to work. It takes a while to get an attempt that works like this. I mean, I probably was sat here for a good hour trying to get a good attempt, because I knew it was possible. I knew this attempt was actually possible. It just needed the right luck to happen. And there are no other Pokemon in this area that can learn the move Rage via level up, so it wouldn't work with our move set either. Sorry, our rule set. This attempt though, we got a lot more lucky on the Geodude. He was missing attacks, he was using a lot of defense skills as well, and we were just slowly chipping away at him and dealing out slightly more damage every single turn. We do get taken down by the Geodude, but he's on so little HP, we get some attack boost straight away that we get through to the Onix with only taking 1 hit. This means as well that we can also start... he went for Bide. Oh, I'm happy if I never see that move again for a little while. So we're only taking minimum points of damage. Because Rage is only dealing out very little, Bide is not doing very much, but I really don't want to see Bide because it outpaces us in damage output. We get very lucky though, he goes for a lot of Screeches, and that gives us a turn to chip away at him as well. And eventually, we get the win. This took probably about an hour's worth of tries. I was very determined to do this. And then, we decide to go into Mount Moon. And I've run into another Oddish, now one of my most hated Pokemon now. And, yeah. I really don't like Oddish after the Bide run. It just walled you completely and created an impossible point. But this time around, because we've taken on some damage, Rage can actually get through and we can level up our Charmander into Charmeleon, where we get a little bit of a nice attack boost. The Super Nerd is not going to be a problem whatsoever as long as we don't get hit by evasion lowering moves, but even at low HP, Andy Ray with Rage is pretty damn good. Like, it's got high attack and that's great for the early game. Voltorb will be a little bit of a problem later on when we get to Surge because we don't want to be hit by the likes of Sonic Boom. But we get through the Super Nerd pretty comfortably and progress on to Cerulean City, where, honestly, I genuinely thought this run might have to stop. Not at the rival though, the rival was fine, apart from the sand attack glitch happened here. Did it happen here? Or was it later on the run? Oh no, it might have been later on the run. We actually get through the Pidgeotto pretty comfortably here. What also became a problem though, it's going to be the gym leader in this city. The Squirtle's not going to be too much of a problem for us. We can get through pretty comfortably. We've accrued enough damage. And pretty much you can sweep an entire team with just Rage as long as you get the right luck. So having a big team is not really the biggest plus to this challenge. Misty is a problem. Now if we'd started with any other starter Pokemon, we would have a much easier time here. but we started with Charmander, weak to water, and Bubble Beam just one-shots you no matter what range you're at. Andy Ray, God bless him here, just tries his best, but Bubble Beam is just too powerful for this team. We even go up to the level cap at level 21, and it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. We do attempts where we start with Beedrill instead of Charmeleon, and it makes no difference whatsoever. That Starmie is just brutal. It's absolute Mortal Kombat brutality on our team, and there's just nothing we can do. But what we can do, we can catch ourselves a Mankey. Yes, in Pokemon Red, it's not available in Pokemon Blue, which is what I'm doing this challenge in. But in Pokemon Red, you can pick up a Mankey outside of Cerulean City. I'm going to call him Arrowbox after one of my subscribers, and maybe just adding one more member to this team will make this possible. We're going to start off with Arrowbox this time. Hopefully, you can just take out the Staryu, and we are taking a lot of damage from Water-type moves still. We get taken down pretty much straight away. We managed to take out the Staryu though, but we're at full HP going into Starmie. If we can hit by quite a lot of tackles, Beedrill should be able to do this, but we get hit by Bubble Beams and it brings us into our Charmeleon, who can't deal that much damage, and because of Misty's AI, will only ever use Water-type moves against us. So I actually opted to use Charmeleon first just to take down the Staryu. And we do get on low HP, we get taken down, but the Staryu, after that, goes for an X defend. That's fine, we've got 2 Pokemon to try and take out the Starmie. Now if we can take off at least half its damage with just Mankey, we should be okay, but it didn't start looking good at this point. And then a Bubble Beam missed. And then they started just using Tackle. Our Rage started building. Bubble Beam did eventually hit, and it all came down to them using a final Tackle, which increased our attack to actually get us the win. I genuinely tried this fight for about 2 hours, and that was the only attempt that I got a win on. I genuinely thought that was the point that I'd have to say this challenge is just completely impossible with this rule set. And then Beedrill comes in clutch. So yeah, big props to Andy Ray. So, picking up the SS ticket, we can now head down to Vermilion and onto the SSN for another fight against No Rage. We can just rage our way through this, and again, we are starting to see this Pidgeotto being a problem. We do take it down before the sand attacks become too prominent. And then, yeah, as you can see here, we're just not hitting this Raticate very much at all. It does use Hyper Fang to take us down, and then Andy Ray comes in to sweep up. Rage against the Kadabra is fantastic because it's a physical type move, and Kadabra has pretty bad defenses, but it one-shots us. So it's all on Arrowbox here, and I'm not worried whatsoever here. Wartortle at this point in the game has got pretty terrible moves. We can accumulate a lot of rage increases, and we get a win pretty comfortably with Mankey. That brings us to Vermilion Gym, the electric type gym, and usually this gym is incredibly easy. Not this time round though. This again took quite a lot of tries. Not anywhere near as much as Brock or as Misty, but this is still kind of difficult. So let's see how we do against Lieutenant Surge. Surge, of course, he's got 3 Pokemon Voltorb, who I mentioned earlier I was worried about. Because if we get hit by Sonic Boom, that's a hell of a lot of damage to take on at this point in the game. Thankfully, we took a lot of tackles, so Rage is doing pretty good damage right now. And then Raichu comes in and Thundershocks us. Ideally, we kind of want to be going into this Raichu with a couple of Rage increases straight away, because we're not dealing out enough damage, and Thunderbolt is nearly one-shotting our entire team. So we start off with Andy Ray again, who is honestly probably the most reliable team player so far. We manage to take down the Voltorb, the Pichu goes down pretty comfortably, and we've got 48 HP to work with for the Raichu. We're down at 3 HP and managed to get Raichu taken down over halfway. Arrowbox comes in and gets it down to very low HP, giving us enough for 2 Slick to come in and get the final hits in. We managed to get the 3rd badge pretty comfortably. And we go and catch our 4th Pokemon in the team, and you know what? For everyone who trashes on Onix, myself included, Onix is the perfect Pokemon for this run. I'm going to call Onix after John Berg, one of my new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, Onyx is fantastic for this run, especially against a lot of the hikers, the early game. I wish you got Onyx a bit earlier to make this a bit better, but we can tank self-destructs like a boss. And because we're taking so many hits, our attack just goes skyrocketing straight away. And the Exploding Hiker just knows that he's not going to win, so he just self-destructs the entire way. But honestly, Onyx is going to be a massive player on this team. Because of its sky-high defenses, we can take a lot of hits and dish them back out. But we get put into the sand attack trap here again. And it was either deciding, do I stay in or do I reset here? Because I can't switch out, I'm locked into using Rage. So I either waited out and let Jonberg fall here so we can bring in a new Pokemon, or I reset. And I decided, you know what, I think we should keep it in. Because the next Pokemon coming up, yeah, we're going to have a decent fight against. And we've got another little oddity of Rage, which we will see very, very soon. So I want to keep in and show you guys this. But this does take a long time to take down, and this is one of the drawbacks of using an Onyx if you get locked into this. But still, I'm really pushing Onyx to be a major player on this team. Its defenses alone just get us enough time to get enough attack increases. And as long as we can get around the sand attacks and later fights, yeah, we should be having a great player on our team. I mean, this thing naturally only has very, very low attack. Like, lower than an Oddish. Oddish has got more attack than an Onyx, even though it's a massive rock snake. Apparently, Oddish, of all things, has got more attack. Anyway, now it's finally fallen, we can then bring in Arrowbox, who can clean up the Pidgeotto. Can also clean up the Growlithe pretty comfortably, even though he decides to use a potion. But he only decides to use Leer on us, so Badge Boost does play into this as well. If they lower our defenses, then we can also get more attack quicker. Now here is the other oddity that I was talking about. Multi-turn moves. Essentially, with a move like Barrage, if we get hit 5 times in one round, we can get +5 literally after one attack. So we really want to see multi-turn moves in this challenge. And this execute alone completely wastes his team. Because now we can one-shot Kadabra, and without critical hits, we can pretty much free-shot that Wartortle. So please, game, show me more Fury attacks in this run. For once, I'm actually asking for them. Beating the rival, we can go into Celadon, pick up our Eevee, because there's only one evolution that can actually learn Rage naturally via level up. So we're going to go to, is it going to be the 5th or the 4th floor that we need to go to? I'm going to go to the 5th, although it might be the 3rd. No, it's the 4th floor. I was wrong both times. The 4th floor, you can pick up a Firestone, and we are going to add a Flareon to our team. Flareon can naturally learn Rage on level up, and of course, you know for a fact that all evolutions forevermore in this channel are going to be named after Jubbles, regardless of who's going to be a new subscriber or not. Jubbles has been here for a long time, he's been a big supporter of this channel, so this is my way of thanking him. If you've got a certain Pokemon in particular that you want to be named after whenever I do a run of it, please let me know and I'll lock that in for you. With our team of 5, we can head into Celadon City, and this is going to be the easiest gym fight of the entire run. Because it only takes one Pokemon, and that is Beedrill. Beedrill is just built for this gym. Poison and Bug completely walls every single move that Erica has. And because she's using multi-turn moves with Wrap, we get up to +6 incredibly quickly. Even the Tangela, who's just using the likes of Constrict and Wrap, again falls pretty quickly. The only big problem is the Vileplume, who will use Sleep Powder and use Petal Dance, but we managed to get it down to very low HP, and if she hadn't have used Super Potion, we'd have swept there. But Jubbles can come in and get the win pretty comfortably. But that is hands down the easiest way I've ever beaten Erica. I went into the fight with Beedrill, I pressed one button, and our entire team nearly crumbled underneath us. So yeah, if you want an easy Erica fight, get a Beedrill, get Rage, just let the fight run. And now Giovanni. Giovanni has got an Onyx, he's got a Rhyhorn, both defensive powerhouses, and you know what? This actually plays into our favour. By sending out Onyx against his team, we are going to get incredible attack increases very quickly. And because we're just slightly higher leveled than him, we're going to deal out more damage. And we sweep through this team pretty much all the way to the Kangaskhan without taking... Well, we don't take our foot off the pedal. We just press one button and let it run. This is why I'm actually, in the mid-game, starting to enjoy this challenge. But straight after this, we're going to find our first impossible point, as we said earlier. Rage is a 20 base power normal type move. It can't hit ghost Pokemon. And the next point in the run, if you only have normal type moves on your moveset, it's impossible to get past Lavender Tower because they can't hit ghost Pokemon. And then of course we are going to have to go against Agatha in the Elite Four, which again, she has ghost type Pokemon. So unfortunately, there are 2 true impossible points to this run, but there could be more. While we're in Lavender Tower as well, we are going to pick up our 6th Pokemon, which is Cubone, and we're going to call it after one of our newest subscribers, Ben Levi. Thank you for subscribing, Ben. Welcome to the channel. And eventually you will be a powerful Marowak. So, picking up the Poké Flute as well, we're actually not going to pick up a Snorlax for this run. Yeah, I know. Snorlax is a great Pokemon, but it can't learn Rage naturally. So, we're going to bike our way down to Fuchsia City, and we might as well go pick up some new team members as well. Straight outside of the bike path as well, we can pick ourselves up a Doduo, and eventually be a Dodrio. And we're going to call it after one of our subscribers, Twig. Because Doduo's got skinny legs like a twig, so I think it's appropriate. We're also going to go into the Safari Zone and pick up 2 new Pokemon. First, of course, you know for a fact it's going to be Tauros, the wild bull Pokemon. And of course, Whoopagoat, you are our Tauros again for today. I think I'm going to lock you into just being this every time there is a Tauros around. And the other Pokemon we're going to pick up is going to be the parent Pokemon, Kangaskhan. This is another, it's a decent Pokemon. It's better in Gen 6. And we're going to call Kangaskhan Selena. Thank you for subscribing. It's been, I think you were probably one of my very first subscribers, so thank you for still being here. Ben Levi evolves into Marowak. We've evolved into Dodrio. We've got a stacked team now. And of course, we'll switch it up for this fight. Now, again, we see the evasion problems here. Because Muck will use Minimize, we will also get hit by Smokescreen. Rage really has a problem in this fight. We managed to get the Muck down eventually, but it takes a long time for that to happen because of the evasion lowering. And then, of course, we get hit by a load of Smokescreens going into Coffin. And I decide, you know what? We're going to have to reset anyway, because when we brought out Whoopagoat, I forgot that I still had Tackle on his moveset, so I had to reset regardless. Whoopagoat, though, perfect for this for this battle. Because it can also get critical hits even without attack increases, we can deal out massive damage and take down Pokemon really, really quickly. So Tauros is going to be an incredible player on this team regardless. We also get taken down at the second Coffin, but that means we can bring in Ben Levi. Marowak doesn't have the greatest attack, but it also is pretty powerful anyway. It's got good defenses, physical defense anyway. And then we get locked into Smokescreen again, so we have to wait until Coffin takes us down. But he just keeps going for Smokescreen and making this even worse for us. I hate evasion moves. I really do hate them. It takes a while for Ben Levi to get taken down, but still, when he does, we can bring in a new Pokemon and clean up this fight pretty comfortably. And as long as I've got 2 Pokemon in my party still by the Weezing, we're not bothered if we see a self-destruct. That's what I'm hoping for in all honesty, because it ends the fight a lot quicker. Arrowbox manages to deal out some damage to Weezing, but it's not enough. And a lot of our Pokemon are also getting poisoned. There's the self-destruct. You'll love to see it. We get the win. And that means we now need to head over to Saffron City. I also could go over to Cinnabar Island, but we also need a ride Pokemon, which, yeah. Let's see how we do against Rival 5, one of the most infamous challenges in Gen 1. We're going to start off with our Tauros, of course, and we're going to try and take down this Pidgeot as quick as possible. And again, we get sand attacked quite a bit, which is never what we want to see. Whoopagoat starts missing everything, and thankfully after this fight, that Pidgeot stops having sand attack. So, at least we've managed to deal out a little bit of chip damage. Ben Levi comes in, manages to take out the Growlithe pretty comfortably, and that brings us into Execute now. Leech Seed is going to be a problem. We need to get hit, so we don't want Leech Seed to start covering their HP. But we've got no Pokemon apart from Beedrill, I think. Or I think Beedrill still gets hit by Leech Seed. Yeah, this is where Leech Seed was really a problem. It's not hitting us at all, and keeps using Leech Seed. So we need to try and take it out as quick as possible, but that's impossible when we can't increase our attack because he's not hitting us with Barrage. So yeah, this is a problem, and Execute possibly might incur an impossible point here because there is literally nothing we can do to increase our attack while it's using Leech Seed, because all it's doing is it's using every move but the one we want to see. It uses Stun Spore as well. This is a nightmare, this fight. And there's only one thing we can probably do. Basically, we reset. What we need to happen is no sand attacks from Pidgeot, because that means that Whoopagoat can get enough rages put in straight away, and we can start dealing out bigger damage on the Execute. We do get Leech Seed, but thankfully we took it down before we got anything else put on us. And Tauros alone sweeps through this fight all the way to the Blastoise before getting taken down. We bring in Aerobox to try and clear it up, and we get hit by the likes of Bubble and Water Gun still at this point in the game. And finally, it takes out at least two of our Pokemon. Ben Levi comes in, does some more chip damage. He keeps using potions for all of them. God's sake. How is this one Blastoise just taking down most of my team? Crazy. We do manage to beat him though, but thankfully we don't have to worry about sand attack from that Pidgeot anymore. That brings us to another Giovanni fight. Giovanni here, not a problem. Send in an Onix, he's going to deal out so much damage because they're not going to deal much to him at all. From here though, Kangaskhan is not going to be a problem. Again, it's using a multi-turn move, so even if we hadn't increased our attack, we could have done it because of Kangaskhan's Comet Punch. Now, the AI is doing an interesting thing there. It sees that our defenses are ridiculously high and that we can deal out more damage via Comet Punch. So that's why it's using the multi-turn moves over other moves. We managed to get the Rhyhorn really low down on HP, but again, the Rhyhorn takes down Onix, and we need to bring in a new Pokemon. I go for Dodrio because why not? Most of our Pokemon are normal types, ground types, fighting types, rock types. At least on this team setup as it is right now. There's not much type diversity throughout this team. We're probably only scratching maybe half the types available. But yeah, we take down Giovanni, we head out, and the next fight may be difficult. But it may not be difficult with a Charizard. We can't learn Slash, so screw that. Let's head over to the gym, and let's go and get the next badge. Which Pokemon do we start off with though? That's the big question I want to ask myself. So Sabrina, of course, starts off with Kadabra, and we need a Pokemon that can tank special hits a bit better. So we bring in Jubbles for the... I haven't had Jubbles in my team for a little bit while, but does go down to a lot of Psychic type moves. We bring in Dodrio to go against the Mr. Mime, and it's just not working in our favour. Thankfully, a lot of their Pokemon are very defensively weak. Kangaskhan comes in here, and you know, it's actually tanking special type moves pretty good. It does get taken down by Venomoth, and we bring in our Tauros, and we're just getting completely trashed by status effects here. Alakazam sets up a bloody Reflector, all things as well, and then takes us down with Psywave. I probably shouldn't have brought Aerobox into this attempt, but we bring in our Charizard, and yeah, unless we get incredibly lucky here, we're not winning this fight. So yeah, I decided let's just try one more time. Primeape has got really good attack, and that means that we can actually hopefully take down one Pokemon, but it might have to be the Venomoth. But Jubbles goes a lot better here. It manages to get Mr. Mime down to low HP, meaning Twig can come in and take a lot of damage from the Venomoth, increasing its attack. We take down the Venomoth, and we can also outspeed the Alakazam, dealing out some damage before we need to switch into Selena. Selena takes a lot of damage there, and we are just wasting our team right now. Thankfully, Psywave doesn't deal massive amounts of damage all the time. Whoopagoat gets us the win, and progress on with 6 badges in our pocket. Next up is of course going to be Cinnabar Island, so we need to surf over there. And oh god, I've got very disoriented getting out of there. Let's head down to Cinnabar Island. And the next gym leader, probably not going to be too much of a problem. We need to make sure we get all the questions right because we've got big brain strats using just one button and raging like a Call of Duty player. We managed to get them all right because we are just that intelligent. And we head into the Blaine fight. And Blaine's not going to be too difficult. We've got Jubbles who can resist fire types and Charizard. Blaine, of course, honestly, I don't think he's going to be that much of a problem. Most of his Pokemon can either use normal type moves or they use fire type moves. So we've got 2 Pokemon that are perfectly suited to actually resist them. We've also got Onix as well, which can resist fire type moves and normal type moves. So to be fair, Onix is probably the better Pokemon to be using in this fight. Selena comes in just to try and take down the Rapidash, which takes quite a lot of damage. Like Selena's HP makes it bulkier. And we managed to get down a very low HP, take it down, and that brings into Arcanine, which takes us down for takedown. He's dealing damage out to himself. Fire Blast one-shots Tauros, so we need to bring in another fire Pokemon to make sure he doesn't use that. We're down at very low HP, and this is starting to look really bad. Ben Levi gets one shot, and it's all on Onix here. Can Onix still do this? He finally can. Yep, Onix Johnberg managed to clutch up in that fight, and we get a first-time win. Genuinely, the late game is becoming easier and easier. Like mid-game to late game, it's been easier than the early game. But there's still a late game to play, and you know exactly why I'm not looking forward to the late game. So Giovanni, the final gym challenge. We start off with Whoopergoat because we want to get hit by Fury Attack and deal out incredible damage as early as we can. We get all the way up to +6 very quickly and take down Rhyhorn. We one-shot the Doug Trio. We nearly two-shot the Nidoqueen. We're down on 39 HP and we are nearly sweeping through the entire team. But Nidoking's Thrash does take us down, but thankfully it's locked into Thrash, so we can take down that Nidoking. That then brings in Rhydon, and this thing's got incredible defenses, so it's going to take us a while to try and take it down. But by using Charizard, we make sure we can never be hit by Fissure, but Stomp can still deal out big damage. This is a bit of a problem because I don't think I've got any Pokemon on my team apart from Onix that can tank enough hits to get up to +6. Ben Levi here is doing its best. It's chipping away as much as possible. I mean, imagine like a sorry, Ben. I don't know if you're like a middle-aged guy like I am, middle-aged, 30s sort of age, but a Marowak using Rage just seems like a little kid that's like flailing its arms at this Rhydon, just eventually chipping away until it won. So yeah, 8 gym badges in total. We've only got 1 impossible point. We know there's another one coming up, and we've got another rival fight. Let's see how No Rage does here. So this fight, the Pidgeot does not have Sand Attack. For the first time in this video, we don't have to worry about Sand Attack. We can just chip away at this Pidgeot with our Onix because all it's going to do is use Agility. So it's a very easy first Pokemon to try and chip down. That then brings into Rhyhorn, and because we're already using Rage, we're looking for the Fury attacks. It's not using them until there. It only hits us. We got 4 stack there, then the Stomp puts us on 5, and there we go. We've got full Rage here, and we're just chipping away at Rhyhorn because that's all we can do. And the next couple of Pokemon, we might actually be able to sweep with just Onix alone if this plays into our favour. Once we've taken down Rhyhorn, after quite a while, we're at half HP. We are just dealing under half HP against the Growlithe as well. Execute is next. We get Seeded, which is never great. But it takes us quite a while, but we actually don't take down the Execute as well. We deal out decent damage against Alakazam, but there we go. We finally fall, and it's down to our other Pokemon to try and get through the Alakazam. So we're going to bring in Twig to try and deal out big damage. We can't deal out much. This thing's just destroying us. And yeah, not even Andy Ray, who hasn't been a team player for a little while since the mid-game. There's not much we can do against this Alakazam. It's just too powerful. And it keeps using Recover as well. So what can we do differently here? Well, it's going to be pretty much the same as before. We take down the Pidgeot using Onix, and hopefully we get better luck. It's the best Pokemon to start off with. Basically, I really wanted better luck against this Rhyhorn. If we can take off more damage than it's dealing out to us, we should be okay getting through some of the other Pokemon, because with Onix having +6, it's the best chance to take down the majority of the team. But now we're at +6 and we're at 83 HP. We're looking a lot better this time round. We don't want to be leech seeded by the Execute. That's one thing we don't want to happen. We don't get stun spored. He goes for Solar Beam, and we're at 83 HP to take on this Alakazam. Psychic takes us down to very low HP, but we actually get through, and we're on the Blastoise against... Wow, we took down 5 members of that team with just Rage alone, and we are only at level 50. We are below the level cap for this fight. But a lot of our Pokemon are weak to Water-type moves, so we need to bring in Wooper. Hopefully he can chip away it and we get hit by a Skull Bash. That's fine. It's increasing our attack. And we're just gradually chipping off away its HP. Wooper gets us the win. And that means we can head on to the league. And the league is going to be a nightmare. In all of the time I was playing this run recording, the league took us so long to do that I thought this month was not going to be possible. Because this took us so long to do. We can only take 5 Pokemon across here as well, because we needed a right Pokemon to get through this. But still, look at our team build up. Look at the types we have. And think of who the very first Elite Four member is. This is going to hurt so much. Lorelei, of course, is up first, and we're going to go with Jubbles. Yes, we are weak to Water-type moves, but Dugong doesn't have any Water-type moves. It has Aurora Beam, it's got Takedown, Rest, and Growl. Now, Growl is annoying because it lowers our attack, and we just can't do anything here because he keeps using Rest. So what can we do differently here? Because there's nothing that Jubbles can do. It's eventually going to get taken down, but this Dugong keeps its HP high. There is literally nothing I can do here. I really don't know what I can do. I actually thought this was going to be the impossible point of the Elite Four. The Dugong alone. Because we can't deal out enough damage, yeah, there's just nothing that I could do at this point. Although Wooper did very, very well. It did very well to try and get it down to low HP. And it came down to very good luck that they didn't use Rage. We had +6 attack going into the Cloyster. And you know what? Tauros might be the way through Lorelei. We're dealing out massive damage with Rage now, but we are on low HP. We one-shotted the Jinx, and that brings us into Arrow Box. We are just chipping away as much as possible, and then we get frozen. Oh my god. Blizzard is just tearing through my team. Okay, we've learned from the last attempt. Let's start off with Wooper, and let's try and take down this Dugong. If we can get as many Rage increases as possible... Wow, we actually took it down pretty quickly there. We get hit by Clamp, which is a multi-turn move as well. We hit by Spike Cannon as well. Hopefully we can get back through to the Lapras again with just Wooper, because we know that, man, a +6 Tauros would have taken out that Jinx. So we need to switch into another Pokemon. I switch into our Dodrio because it can outspeed the Jinx. It doesn't deal out much damage when we get taken down by an Ice Punch. This isn't looking great anymore. Okay, so we switch into Jubbles, who can have neutral damage, but then Hydro Pump will one-shot. This is not looking good. Again, Hydro Pump is just tearing through my team. And when it's not Hydro Pump, it is Blizzard. This Lapras is incredibly powerful. Selena manages to get it down to very low HP, and she keeps spamming her super potions. And it's all down to Charizard. Can Charizard do this? It tanks the Blizzard to get a final Rage in. So yeah, Lorelei is not impossible using only Rage. I was very surprised at that. Next is Bruno, and you guys know where this is going to go. We start with Selena. and we're just going to press one button and let the fight go. Reason why I've chose this team for the Elite Four, there's enough resistances in here for the majority of the fights, enough power behind them for the majority of the fights, enough bulk to help actually increase our attack. Reason why I wanted Flareon in particular as well is because it's got 130 base attack. Like, that's insane. It's probably one of the highest attacking Pokemon on this team. But yeah, we are still using Rage, which is 20 base power move. So we get taken down by quite a lot of Pokemon, but we're into the final Onix, and then there's just Machamp to deal with. So we're just going to Rage our way through this. Nothing else we can do because it's the Rage only run. And Arrowbox is taking a lot of damage. The Onix itself has also locked itself into Rage, which is quite funny in itself. This is why I said earlier, this is the Bruno strat. He has his Onix and he's puts himself into Rage. But that's fine because we can bring in Whoopagoat, who can start increasing its attack before the Machamp comes out. We want to get on +6 before that happens, and gradually we are going to take down this Onix pretty comfortably. But we are going to be under half HP, so it all comes down to this first hit, and it's under half HP. But because it's Bruno, he uses Submission and he misses. Now for Agatha, the second true impossible point of this run. As you can see here, Rage just can't hit them. So, yeah, nothing we can do there. It is truly an impossible point. So what can we... Well, I'm just going to make sure I use other moves to get through this fight because we know it's impossible. You see in the screen right now, every single hit is ineffective. So yeah, we're just going to use Whoopagoat. We're going to use Earthquake just to sweep through this fight quickly. Because as much as we know this is impossible, I want to see if the next fights are possible. And I think it's still pretty cool that we've managed to get this far in the run and there's only been 2 impossible points, and that's due to tight matchups on the move itself. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with how well this run's actually gone. Once we've finally taken down our entire team, just by using a combination of Fly and Earthquake, we can get through comfortably and then go against Lance. Lance, I haven't brought a Poison type this time round. I genuinely debated bringing Beedrill just to see if this, just have this fight a bit easier, but no. We're going full hog on this. So we're starting off with our Whoopagoat, and that's for one reason. It's got one of the best attacks. We get hit by a lot of Dragon Rages, but we don't want to be hit by Hyper Beam. We take down 2 Pokemon before dealing out half damage on Dragonair. That's fine, because the next Pokemon coming out after this is going to be Aerodactyl, and this is the one I'm more worried about, just because Hyper Beam can deal out so much damage. We need to deal out as much damage as possible on this Aerodactyl before Twig gets taken down. And yeah, final Hyper Beam does come in. And because he took us out in one hit, Hyper Beam didn't have to have the recharge turn. And then he uses a Bloody Potion to get back to full HP. If he hadn't have used that, we could have used Arrow Box to try and take down the Dragonite. Because with it being a fighting type Pokemon, he would only use his Psychic type moves. And this really stung badly with me. Tooslick does manage to get through to the Dragonite, but with half HP, nah, we need to try this again. We really need to pick and choose which Pokemon we use in this fight at which points. So Whoopagoat does its best to try and take down the majority of Pokemon starting off with. We need to make sure we've got through that Aerodactyl. That Aerodactyl is the problem because it's a rock. Because it's a rock flying type, it's resisted by Rage, and that's a big problem. So we need to use Tooslick to come in and deal as much damage as possible. Oh god, Hyper Beam. Okay, let's bring in Selena. Hopefully Selena can deal out some damage, and we're actually getting around quite a lot of the Supersonic Confusions. We deal out as much damage as possible to Dragonite, even though it is sending out its barriers, but that's fine for us. As soon as Dragonite is out, it's its last Pokemon. The fight is ours because all he's going to do is use his Psychic type moves against Arrowbox, and because he uses a Hyper Potion, you cheesy thing. Because we're a fighting type Pokemon and Psychic is super effective, his AI thinks that is going to be the most optimal play. So all he will use is Agility and Barrier. He won't use Hyper Beam. He will not use Slam. And that's fine with us because it just just a matter of time before Dragonite falls. Arrowbox, honestly, that's the entire reason that I brought Primeape with us. I was debating bringing Beedrill, but no. Arrowbox can just deal out more damage in the late game. And that just leaves one more fight. Can we beat the rival, the champion, with using Rage only? We don't have to worry about Leech Seed here. We don't have to worry about Sand Attack. This is probably the easiest rival fight for us in this entire run. The big problem, though, is going to come with the second Pokemon. That's going to be Alakazam. So we can deal a lot of damage, but he can set up Reflect, and he can hit hard with Psybeam. So we're going to switch into using Twig, where we actually got a critical hit to take down the Alakazam. Next comes the Rhydon. Now this is a problem in two veins. One, he uses Tail Whip and Leer, which means that we're going to take more damage from the likes of Fury Attack, but we want Fury Attack to hit because we want to accrue more plus ones in our attack. And because of that, we get really good luck. We move into Executor, who of course has got Barrage, and in one turn, Jubbles gets up to +5. We're at +6 already, and that just sets us up for the final Blastoise. As long as we can outspeed here, we can deal out big damage before Jubbles will fall to a couple of hits. But we put it on its very last HP, we bring in Arrowbox to get the last chip, and yes, apart from 2 impossible points, it is possible to beat Pokemon Blue with using only the move Rage. It's just annoying that it's a normal type move and then it can't hit ghost types. But yeah, give a big shout out to 2Slick, our Charizard, Twig, our Dodrio, Jubbles, our Flareon, Arrowbox, our Primeape, Whoopergoat, well, Selena, our Kangaskhan, then Whoopergoat, our Tauros. We've even done it under the level cap, and yeah, 11 hours 57 in-game minutes. That took a while. How are you guys finding these these single move only challenges so far? Do you like them? Was there any other moves you want me to try and do a run with? Let me know down in the comments, and of course, really appreciate it if you would smash that like and subscribe button. I've done a lot of work to make this month as jam-packed as possible with different variations. So yeah, smash that like and subscribe, you legends, and we will see you next week we'll see you tomorrow for another single move challenge run. Take care.